Hey crazy folders! In this video I want to talk about wet folding papers. There are many people who have problems with wet folding. They don't find the right papers and always the paper rips. So I decided to make this basics video, including a list with links to shops where you can buy wet folding papers. You can find the link in the video description. So first of all, it's the same thing as with dry folding papers. You can't find the perfect paper for dry folding and you can't find the perfect paper for wet folding. It depends on the model you like to fold, and so you have to try with several papers and find the right paper for each model. But there are some generously things that are important for wet folding. In some of my videos I used a brush or a spray bottle to make my paper wet, and I use them because it's really nice to work with them. But to get the feeling for how wet the paper should be, it's better to use first a cloth which is not that wet. So you have to make the cloth wet and brush it out so that it don't drops. It is really only a bit wet. And if you have this cloth, you can wetten the paper from both sides. And you see the paper curls. And you can't do anything wrong with it. So it can't be too wet with this cloth. And if you have this, you see how wet the paper should be. It don't drops, it's only just wet. It's really good to use this cloth to find out how wet the paper should be. After that you can use the spray bottle or the brush, but at the beginning use this. Otherwise the paper rips and it's really annoying. While the paper making process, the paper fibers with water and glue will be pressed together. And after drying they hold together. If you now wetten the paper, you will kind of reverse the paper making process. The paper fibers will hold not that good together when the paper is wet. This is why it is important that the paper fibers are long and not that short. So, for example, this printer paper has very short fibers. You can rip it and you will see, you can't see it in the video, but if you rip some printer paper and you look on the fibers, you will see they are very short. So, if we now wetten this printer paper, as we before did with the elephant hide, you will see it has some shiny parts in it when you look in the sun. You see it's too wet on some parts with this cloth, which is really not that wet. And you see the paper is really soft. And if you try to rip it, you will see it's really easy. It rips so fast. So if you try to fold something with this wet printer paper, you have to be very carefully and it's really not fun. So I really wouldn't work with printer paper for wet folding. It's really not good. So remember, papers with long fibers are better for wet folding. back to the bad printer paper and we make it wet again. And you see, you have wrinkles on it. So now, if you try to fold curves in this thin printer paper, you will notice that it holds the shape really bad and it's really hard to get nice curves without wrinkles. It's almost impossible. You have all the way wrinkles and bad creases and it's really hard to work with it. Sure, if you are really patient and have much time, you can use the time to try to make it perfect with printer paper. But it's really no fun, and I really wouldn't work with printer paper for wet folding. It's too thin and has short fibers, so don't do it. A better example, elephant hide. You can make the curves much better because it's a bit thicker and it don't make so much wrinkles. There are also some wrinkles in it, but very less, and it looks very much nicer. So if you use thicker paper, you will have less wrinkles. This paper is 110 gm. If you use maybe watercolor paper, you can use it with 140 or 200 or 300 gm, and you will have less creases, less bad wrinkles on it. So for wet folding, especially for simple wet folding models with curves and waves, you should really use thick paper. It makes the folding more easy and more beautiful. You have to decide between simple wet folding models and complex wet folded models. So you can't fold this one with very thick paper, or you have to use a very large paper size and fold it in huge size. And for this one, it's better the paper is really thick. Also, you have to look if you like to fold the whole model wet, or if you like to fold it dry and only shape it wet with water at the end. So this model can't be folded dry and shaped wet. You have to fold it wet from the beginning. This one can be folded wet, or you fold it dry with elephant hide and shape it at the end. So if you like to fold a model dry and shape it wet at the end, you have to choose paper which can be folded wet and dry. So for example, elephant hide can be folded wet and dry. Watercolor paper is not that good to fold dry. So if you choose a watercolor paper with about 100 gm, which is the thickness of elephant hide, it's not that good to fold dry. Elephant hide is one of my favorite wet folding papers, because you can fold it dry and wet. It's very strong, it's really hard to rip it, and after drying it holds the shape very nice. Also, you can find it in 7 colors here in Germany. It's bad that the other colors you could get before aren't anymore, but yes, I really like elephant hide to fold wet folding models. For example, there's a bull by Andrey Ermakov I showed, and also my hummingbird. It's from red elephant hide. The last one is a study by Yang Din he gave me some months ago, and this one has very less folds and it's really nice for elephant hide too. Watercolor paper is the second of my favorite wet folding papers. You can get it in many sizes and between 100 and I think 400 GM. So you can choose the right paper you need for your model. I also like the natural look of it, and you can paint this paper with acrylic paint or other paints, so you don't have to fold only with white paper, because you can get this watercolor paper only in white here. For example, here's my Guardian of the Last Geometry. It's folded from watercolor paper. I think it's 150 GM. Then there is my Glance into Heaven. This one is folded from watercolor paper too, but I have treated it with stone art to make it stronger. Bison of Yang Din. I folded it in a workshop from him, and he also uses watercolor paper. This one is very strong. I think it's 300 or something like this GM. Another very good wet folding paper with long fibers is Tant. Tant isn't that thick, but if you make it wet, it don't rips that easy. So this Tant paper isn't that good for models like Glance into Heaven with very less folds, because it's not that thick. But you can fold very nice models like the hummingbird, or I think some kind of this model in small size. You can fold very nice with Tant. Yes, and some intermediate models, maybe not complex, but yes, you can really nice fold with Tant paper. The three papers I showed you are the most used papers for wet folding, I think. But there are many other papers you can use for wet folding. So you can use Washi paper. It has long fibers, but as Tant it's thin, and you have to see what kind of models you can fold with it. Then there is a paper, I think it's a German paper. I don't think that you can buy it in other countries. It's called F-Color, and you can get it in many colors here. I put the link in the list in the video description. This paper is really nice for wet folding too, and for example Stephan Weber with his great bull uses this paper. He colors it with really nice colors, and yes, it's great for wet folding. Then there is Biotiope paper from Nicolas Thierry. You can buy it on his online shop, and this paper is very thin. It's thinner than Tant, but it's quite a bit similar to Tant. This paper can be folded very nice, wet and dry. So I think it's perfect to fold a complex model with this one and shape it with water and or MC glue at the end. So it's in my opinion, it's a wet shaping paper. Then there is Lokta. You can get Lokta on Nicolas Thierry's shop too, and I think also on other shops. This paper should be treated first before wet folding. So I have not that experience with this paper, but I know that David uses it. So I think you have to treat this paper with MC glue for folding and let it dry, and after that you can work with it also with water. But as I said, I have no experience with it, so you have to try it. I know there are other papers that are good for wet folding, but I can't buy them in Germany. So look in the video description for the list, and maybe you can find some papers you can buy in your country. I hope this video helps a bit to start with wet folding, and if you have any questions, please write them in the comments. I give my best to answer them all. Have a great day and crazy wet folding. See you!